Well, the parts have showed up, so sorry, but I've put this on already. That was a 14 millimeter on that. On that for the where it goes onto the caliper, and then, or no, it wasn't. I think it was 13. I don't remember, but maybe it's 11. Maybe that's an 11 or a 3/8. I don't remember. I did it a few minutes ago, and I already put my tools up. And then we got a 10 millimeter on there, and then that is also a 10 millimeter to remove for the leveler. And you pop that off, and then you just unscrew that. It's 10 millimeter. And then up here we got 13, and then I use a vice grip on the bottom to hold it, just because it holds a lot better than using that clip. And I actually used a vice grip on the top also because I don't know why, but line wrenches for me always seem to spread. Like the lines are always so tight that where they'll end up spreading when you go to loosen it. So I just find it easier to use a pair of vice grips and put it on tight, really nice and tight, to where it's not going to slip. If it slips, you can ruin the nut there. So put it on nice and tight so it's not going to slip when you go to turn it. And if you feel it start to slip at all, stop, tighten it up, and go again. But yeah, and then after I got it loose, and then I used a 13 millimeter regular wrench, because I just have issues with line wrenches. I don't know why. A lot of times I end up using a pair of vice grips on a line wrench if I have enough room, just to get the line off. But yeah, and then I'm gonna bend that in a little bit more, and actually I might just leave it like it is, because on the stabilizer link, if you remember on the first video that I did for this, that the bolt was sticking up here, and so that is what caused the problem when the stabilizer link broke, and the stabilizer swung up. It hit the brake line because the bolt was sticking up there, and those threads rubbing up against there cut the line. So I put it in. I've always done it like this. Is I put the stabilizers in. I put the bolt in from the top, and so that the threads are on the bottom. So then, and they're notorious to break. And so when it breaks, then sometimes you might have something left in here. Not that it matters, but I just always put them in with the nut, with the head of the bolt on top, and put the nut on the bottom. That just seems to work better for me. So that's what I do for that. And then also, what is that? What is it going to mess up with the threads facing on the bottom? Nothing. There's nothing to mess up down there. And when it breaks, because they're notorious to break, then sometimes you'll have this little piece here hanging on, but it's no big deal. Either way, it comes off pretty easily. Anyway it goes. So when it does break, I don't have to deal with that thread sticking up and ruining another brake line because it's not sticking up. But yeah, I'm almost done with this, just about ready to start bleeding the brakes. And this car came from the East Coast, and so this is a little bit of a concern for me here, the bleeder screw, because there is nothing there. As you see, it's just a little nipple because it's rusted away. So probably gonna have to buy another one of those to put on here, a new bleeder screw, get it for both sides, and probably on the back too. The caliper seems to be working fine and everything. The brakes aren't pulling either way, nothing like that. It's just that this has so much rust on it. I'm gonna have to hit this with the pressure washer too, because you know how brake fluid ruins paint. It'll peel paint like stripper. So this all needs to be pressure washed real nice afterward and everything. But yeah, that's it. I get that done, and we're ready to bleed. And the way that I bleed the brakes is I'll put a line on here, and then I'll run the line up and then go down into my bucket so that I can open it up, go inside, pump the brake till I feel it nice and hard, and then by the brake line going up, no air is going in. And I can see if there's air because I make it go up. I can see if there's any air pockets when I come back out to look, and that way I can bleed the brakes by myself. Or you can use a vacuum pump and actually suck the brake fluid through. That's another way to do it by yourself. Or do it the old-fashioned way with two people, where you got one out here pumping, open, and then me out here opening and closing. But I like using like fish tank airline, the airline for a fish tank. That's what I typically use. And I'll just stick it over the end here and then run it up and then go down into a bottle or something and go and open it up, go inside, pump the brake, starting with the one furthest from the master cylinder, of course, and then with the back passenger side, back driver side, front passenger side, front driver side, and bleed them that way. That way it gets all the air out of the whole system. Make sure you're checking the fluid level as you go. Just common sense stuff. But yeah, and we'll see if this raises this back up a little bit. I don't think it will. I think I need to replace these shocks again because this thing sags so bad. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible how low the front sits on this. I mean, the back is up like it's supposed to be, but the front is constantly scraping. I hate it. But yeah, well, I've been rambling, so thank you for watching. Have a good day.